What's up, guys? I'm Shevki from IB Scholars, and today we're gonna do IB Economics Past Paper 1, and we're gonna do a detailed outline about it. So, let's go!
Hello guys, welcome back. Today we're gonna do November 2024 past paper one for economics, IB economics. And let's look at the question first. For the A part, it says explain why a government seeks to achieve a low and stable rate of inflation. To answer this question, we have to first define our terms. We have to define the term inflation. So, what is inflation? We can simply say inflation is defined as sustained increase in the general price levels. And basically, because we're going to do an outline, we're not gonna do a fully write a full text for this question. We're just gonna lay out the detailed outline. So first, you can talk about inflation. Talk about the inflation to a fall in real income and purchasing power because the general price levels are increasing. The mon the value of your money will decrease, so your purchasing power will decrease. Especially for people who receive fixed incomes or wages becomes worse off because of the decreasing purchasing power. So simply we can say people who receive fixed incomes or wages becomes worse off because the purchasing power is decreasing. Uh, Also, because the purchasing power decreases, the holders of cash, especially savers or lenders, any means of that will become worse off because as you save the money you gain or lose, nothing changes, but the because of the inflation, the general price level is increasing, so the purchasing power of that money, the value of that money will decrease. So savers, also we can talk about the savers or lenders, or as we said before, fixed income people. So especially after that, we can say that the inflation reveals an uncertainty for consumers because after inflation, the inability to accurately predict what inflation will be in the future means that basically people cannot predict future changes of purchasing power. So that simply creates an uncertainty for consumers. So we can say that inability to accurately predict what inflation will be in the future means that consumers or people, we can say people cannot predict future changes of purchasing power. So basically, uh, because of this uncertainty, there can be some obstacles concerning the growth of the economy or the development of the economy. Uh, and because of this uncertainty, it can lead to, we can do an arrow here. It can lead to low investments, and it may lower economic growth. Further on, exports become more expensive because of the inflation, which causes decrease in exports. We can say exports basically become more expensive, which causes decrease in exports. Also, we can talk about the effects on resource allocation. Since the price mechanism plays an important role in resource allocation. So if prices are rising rapidly because of the inflation, the signaling and incentive functions of the economy do not work effectively. Also, the uncertainty plays a role in this section. We can connect these points also for the paper one. So we can simply say effects on resource allocation. The price mechanism plays an important role in resource allocation. And if prices are rising rapidly, the signaling and incentive functions of an economy do not work effectively, which may cause misallocation of resources, allocation of resources, eventually causing welfare loss. Also, the inequality increases in terms of inflation because the poor people have comparing to rich people, poor people have less money, and their small amounts of money becomes decreases in value compared to rich people. So the decrease in value in the money will affect poor people more since they have lower money. So we can simply say inequality increases because poor people, especially people who receive fixed incomes, become poor, as we said it before, and because of the inflation, basically the unemployment increases. So we can say people who receive fixed incomes becomes worse off and become poorer as time goes, and have less purchasing power because of the inflation. Also, it can include unemployed people because since they only receive transfer payments or other supplementary, money subsidies, uh, they they're likely to become worse off. Often, so we can say often includes unemployed people. So for the graph of this question, we can draw ADS diagram that shows recessionary gap, or deflationary. Sorry, not recessionary or deflationary gap because the inflation is increasing. We can say that we can draw one demand pull inflation graph. Or cost push inflation. And we can simply show that the increase in aggregate demand or decrease in aggregate supply causes prices to increase. So that's all. That's all you're going to talk about for the A section. And for the B section, it says using real world examples, discuss whether the costs of economic growth are greater than the benefits. So we're gonna have, for this question, we're gonna have two paragraphs that will talk about the benefits and the cost of economic growth. and we will have a real world example about it. But first, for the B section, we have to define our terms again. So economic growth basically refers to an increase in real GDP or the real quantity of goods and services produced over a period of time. So let's write that. Actual increase in real GDP or the real quantity of goods and services produced over a period of time. So for our intro, we can say uh, growth can lead to improvements in living standards and reductions in poverty. And also it may improve living standards of individuals, where living standards refers to levels of income, wealth, and consumption of goods and services, including healthcare and education. And if a real GDP of a country increases faster than its population, then an increase in real GDP per capita results. So we can say that this indicates that there's a greater potential for people to increase their consumption of goods and services and improve their living standards. So for the intro, you can rephrase the question. Now we are going to talk about the economic costs and benefits of economic growth. And for benefits, we can say improved living standards. Also, we can say increased merit goods. Because the growth causes an increase in real income, and which also results in increase of the tax collected by the government. So this increases the budget spent on merit goods like education and health. We can talk about that. Let's draw an arrow here. We can say growth causes an increase in the income, which also which results in the increase in the amount of tax collected by the government. And eventually, this increases the budget spent on merit goods like health services or education or education. And the economic growth may decrease poverty because people on low incomes must often rely heavily on transfer payments and social services and merit goods, and that is provided subsidies that is provided or subsidized by the government. And because as their incomes are insufficient to purchase these in markets, uh, if these are increased by the government in the sense of economic growth, the number of people with low incomes may decrease, eventually decreasing poverty. So we can say people on low incomes often heavily rely on rely heavily on transfer payments and merit goods. And because we said that the real income increases, the collected tax increases, and the government spending increases, we can say that uh, uh, since their incomes are insufficient to purchase necessary goods and services in the market, and the increased transfer payments or subsidies for poorer people may decrease the number of poor people in the economy. Sorry for my language, but uh, you can rephrase that with more detailed analysis. And let's go to the cost of economic growth. Uh, for the costs, we can say that we can talk about the environment, basically. We can say that growth leads to unsustainable resource use. Also, uh, industrialization based on fossil fuels causes greater unsustainable resource use. So we can say that indus- industrialization based on fossil fuels is a major source pollution. So as economic growth increases, the industrialization increases, so the fossil fuel use will increase, which will cause major source of pollution. Also, we can say that we can talk about the cost of increasing incomes because increasing incomes lead to consumption patterns also based on greater fossil fuel consumption, like use of cars or air conditioners. We can say that incomes lead to consumption patterns also based on greater fossil fuel consumption. For example, use of cars or air conditioning. Also, we can talk about the uh, grow now, clean up later policy of the government. Many governments around the world have based their policies on the way of thinking grow now, clean up later, which argues that since using resources to preserve the environment leads to reduced growth because of the increased government spending, the environment leads to reduced growth, it's preferable for governments to pursue growth with its negative effects on the environment and postpone the cleanup job of environmental preservation for later. So we can say that for this idea, many governments around the world have based their policies on the way of thinking grow now, clean up later. Uh, which argues that is using resources to preserve the environment leads to reduced growth because of the opportunity cost. It is preferable to pursue growth with its negative effects on the environment and postpone the cleanup phase. Or we can say cleanup job, environmental preservation for later. Also, as we talked before, the incomes available higher, which for later when and this way of thinking contributes to the global warming, urban air pollution, and soil degradation, which are the problems that are currently faced, and its damage is irreversible in the sense of environment. Also, the income inequality may increase because of the economic growth, because the rich benefit more and poor benefits less. So the gap between poor and rich incomes become more. So basically, we can say that income quality increase and rich benefit more and poor benefits less. So the gap rich and poor poor increases. So as a real world example, I chose, you can choose whichever example you want, but I chose the Beijing example. Beijing's air quality exceeded WTO safety limits in the 2000s, and Gini coefficients rose in 2000s. As you know, the Gini coefficients show the percentage of income inequality. So uh, the Gini coefficient rose in 2000s with urban rural income gaps. Uh, so and for the real example for benefits, we can say that China uh, income per capita increased, access to education improved, and increased employment opportunities happened. Basically, you can say Beijing's there. You can access to these examples specifics in the internet. Just because this is just an outline, I'm just giving you an idea on how to write this real world example. Also, you can write whatever example you want that relates to this question. Also, it is important to combine the question with the real world example. And uh, for the graph of this question, we can say that increasing economic growth may lead to increase in aggregate demand, which may cause inflation. So you can use ADS diagram or to show the increasing income inequality. You can use the Lorenz curve, whichever you want. So it's your choice. So for the real world example, we can say the Beijing's air quality exceeded WTO's safe, safety standards in present. Also Gini coefficient growth rates urban rural income gaps. So that's all for today. Thank you for listening. See you in the next video.